this is Skippy Ultimate here, and we're reviewing Tomb Raider 3, a level at a time. We're not grouping them up or anything like that. And now I can still like this. I think I found the perfect spot to do this review. So we're reviewing Crash Site, another South Pacific Islands level. And I decided to take this one a little bit slow. Since, Coastal Village was a little bit quick, and so was Area 51. But I was kind of pressed for time, both of those times. This one I'm going to try to make a bit longer. Crash Site, surprisingly, broke the record for most pages, so it has the most details out of any Tomb Raider level so far, at about 18.5 pages, so it's a lot. It's a lot to write these things, and yeah, it's going over a lot more details than just the level 2. So stuff that I may have forgotten or whatever. But and some comparisons to other levels, maybe. But there are levels that I always like, from childhood or whatever, that I just love to play. Or there are levels that are just so bad that I hate them outright in childhood. And those progress into levels that I still like, or levels that I think are now meh. Or like bad levels that, I give them the benefit of the doubt, or I just still think they're terrible, but they have some charm. I like to give them still the benefit of the doubt a little bit. And if they just are terrible, they're terrible. I try to be objective with my reviews and everything. Try to keep my opinions out of it. But if I do, I try to make it interesting, try to make it fun, try to make it my own views of what I think. And Crash Site is an underrated level, I think. It does a lot for the games, a lot for the game now and the games up ahead. There are some innovative things in here, which are pretty interesting. But yeah, South Pacific Islands are really good levels. Every single one of them, I think, are really good. And I've learned to respect the difficult level, which is the one after this. I've learned to respect that one and give it what it deserves, because it has a lot of care put into it. Like this one has a lot of care put into it. Coastal Village has a lot of care put into it. The last level has a lot of care put into it. A lot of what makes Tomb Raider 3 so enthralling and so intense and so detail driven is exemplified in these levels. These levels definitely show the best of Tomb Raider 3, basically. So, with that in mind, let's get into Crash Site. So, Crash Site is one of my new favorite levels. What was an average Tomb Raider 3 level has become a perfect level. The pacing is great, the layouts are straightforward, secrets are challenging enough, and you have some interesting side areas to go to. It is also one of those levels that allows you to roam part of the level without restriction, I believe. Uh, Now, I thought you could go back to the beginning area from the end area. You might still be able to, but I think I've done it before, but I'm not quite sure about that. If there's not, you can go back to the swamp if you want. Spoilers of the swamp. And no, I have not checked if you can enter the swamp for Coastal Village, but I assume no. I assume that you trigger the swamp to have the lily pads be walkable. And you wouldn't want to try it because it's Tomb Raider 3. I mean, you'll die for curiosity's sake. Not that many levels in early Tomb Raider allow you to run freely without pressing a button or holding a switch. Also, there are no physical barriers restricting you, so you can go in any part of the level that you want without restriction. I mean, there might be a puzzle area, but you don't have to go to it, so it's optional, right? Yeah, it's optional, and technically you have both sides to go to, so you don't really have the need to pull a switch in one area or whatever, just to get some items. So it's unnecessary, and it's not really part of the level, I think. But yeah, every area you can go through, basically. The areas that you can't are probably traps, but go to them if you want. Alright, there is only one level that comes in mind for this type of free roam, and it is Palace Midas for Tomb Raider 1. But you still have to open a gate and some doors. Also, Palace Midas lacks the insight that this level has, so this level takes full advantage of the environment, enemies, and layout, making the gameplay feel on point. Yeah, it's flawless, basically. And even the challenging points are fun, engaging, and they're not too hard. Honestly, they aren't. And you're likely to figure out the way to do it. So, it's not that bad. You go further into the hut, there's an Australian guy with his leg bitten off, sitting on a stretcher talking to Laura. He says he got his leg bitten off by something. The soldiers are lost, and he wants you to find them. He crashed his plane in the jungle, and the natives are preparing him for dinner. He hands you the swamp map halfway through the conversation. Everything about the cutscene is very distracting, and he never talks about the swamp, or the map, or even the creature that bit his leg off. I would dock points for this, but what matters is what he gives you, so you don't really pay attention to the conversation. It's the most lackluster conversation in the entire game. All the others are really great, so it doesn't really add or take away anything from this level. And you can even distract yourself with the background, him holding his leg or him waving his arms or whatever. So, yeah. Anyway, the hut is decorated nice. It has one room with the guy on the stretcher that is bleeding out. There is bamboo metal, like we saw earlier, which is part of a wall. I say bamboo metal, but it's probably just metal. But it's a different color. It looks like bamboo, so that's what I call Um, the actual guy is all patched up, has some blood, some bones, and has a good Australian accent. Not great, good. The hut is also made of bamboo, which makes this hut stand out from the other huts. It also makes this level more immersive, because bamboo grows in this region. Another brilliant detail is the music. You hear a tribal chant and drums, signaling to the player that the tribe might uh, be on their way, and that would be something you would hear in this location. Forgot to mention this for Coastal Village. The tribe's people all had gold feathers and colorful clothing, while having bare chests and feet. Also, the blow dart is yellow with a hole at the end, and the tribesman's weapon is a fat stick with spikes coming out of it. The club is highly detailed, as are the enemies. The reason Coastal Village and so many other levels get such high ratings is because of the attention to detail in almost every aspect of the level. So Tomb Raider tries to strive for historical accuracy for this game when it doesn't have to. This is extra effort that makes this game special. Anyway, the game portrays these natives as cannibals. Some natives in that region in real life were cannibals. Most are not, obviously, clearly. And probably by the, 1998, they were probably not cannibals. So it is mostly fiction. Some cannibals there might still have that, but we may not know. I don't have people all over the world or in Indonesia, so. So yeah. Anyway, the game portrays these natives as cannibals. Some natives in that region in real life were cannibals, so it seems accurate, which is weird. You drop down, taking 2% fall damage. Then you try to go back where you came. Unfortunately, there was a cave-in. You hit a trigger point and rocks fall from the sky, and the ground shakes. There is a black wire that is behind the bridge that I am sure caused the earthquake. Indonesia is known for earthquakes because it has abundant volcanoes, perhaps the most volcanoes in the world. Ring of Fire. Yeah, these are literally islands, so that makes sense. The roof of the hut stops you from going back into the corridor and onto the bridge. It also stops you from jumping onto the ramp below, which would neglect fall damage. You already have a change of scenery. The land is more open. There's a different type of grass and a swamp with lily pads. Certain ones you can stand on. The map shows you red X's and black dots. The red X's are the lily pads that you can stand on. The swamp is basically quick mud, and the difficulty of the swamp is that you can't pull up on the platforms once you go into the quick mud. The quick mud has slight waves that give it the illusion of moving under saturated conditions, and the platforms seem to move with the waves as well, making it harder to tell which lily pads are platforms, which is very clever design, if I have to say so. The swamp map is one of those cryptic puzzles in Tomb Raider that is acceptable. Gauging the distance and locations of the proper lily pads based on the map is actually fun and rewarding. There is also a secret, that is why it's rewarding. There is also a secret if you manage to piece together the last few lily pads. Yeah. Alright, we're good. Sorry about that. Security's good. Okay. There's also a secret if you manage to piece together the last few lily pads. The platform that you pulled to switch on is now a slope, showing that there was some kind of earthquake. Maybe the natives fell victim to their earthquake. But there's still a wire, so we don't know. There's a platform you can stand on, but I recommend starting at the edge of the swamp so you can see it fully. You do a running long jump diagonally left to lily pad number 1. Be careful to not run off the edge, and also don't grab unless you are certain. You then jump towards the rock wall to lily pad number 2. Then you do a running long jump to your right and land on lily pad number 3. You do another jump to lily pad number 4, which is right by a big tree. You then do a standing jump north to lily pad number 5. Lily pad number 6 is diagonally left from you. Do a standing jump to it. Lily pad number 7 is diagonally left from you, which you do a running long jump to. Lily pad number 8 is diagonally left from you, so you do a standing jump to it. You pull up into an alcove and get the first secret, 2 MP5 hooks. So the goal is to get to the other side of the swamp. So I get back to lily pad number 7, then I do a running long jump to the far edge of the swamp. There is a tiny jungle area over here, which has dark grass and some trees. I don't know why it is that. It just seems odd. But that's fine. Because it's a literal change in scenery that is bordering the other area, I guess. There might be a way to get back to the swamp. I think there is. It's a ramp, but I think you could still get back up. No problem. You just have to get up some platforms, I think. But it feels open, is the point. It feels open, and you can be led to believe that you can go through the entire thing and backtrack if you want. Alright. Anyway, there are some platforms that overlook the next section below, and one of them has grenades on it. You drop down and see a mist obscuring your view of the landscape below. It is different than other video games. Tomb Raider relegates a level at which the mist hangs, a level where it sits. Instead of using the mist to obscure the whole screen, they use lighter particle effects below the mist to obscure your vision below the mist level. A mist is a temperature change that causes a vapor that emanates from a cold surface like water, where the temperature outside of that surface is hotter, from my knowledge, which you can look it up, see if that checks out. That is probably happening here. And the way the fog or mist is done here seems more accurate to real life. Mist will hang at a certain level, because that is the point where the hot surfaces will touch the colder surfaces. The background here represents more of a sunset. You have an orange sky with some red streaks. You go further into the mist and find a red dinosaur. You remember Tomb Raider 1's dinosaurs. You would think that this is an easy enemy. This dinosaur is highly maneuverable, will track your position, your patterns, and is built like a tank. It will take about 30 MP5 bullets. I might just go later. 30 MP5 bullets to take him down. If you are out in the open with him, you will probably get bit. He is incredibly fast and will likely sneak up behind you. Design is amazing. You have different shades of red skin representing scales. The tail droops but also bounces around. And the eyes have irises and slitted pupils. The muzzle is textured and seems to be at the proper length. The teeth are jagged and the jaw actually moves when biting more. Everything is animated on the creature. Nothing seems to be painted on. The legs move in a walk, run, and jump cycle. The arms dangle, but when the raptor jumps, the digits extend, which is pretty cool. The jumping animation allows the raptor to jump on its hind legs, propelling it forward to bite you. The raptor also stops to see where you are going. It could walk to you, run to you, or jump to you. It could also turn around, making this creature the most unpredictable enemy in the game. One of the most unpredictable enemies. I'll say one of the most. We haven't seen, that guy or that last guy. So no, not yet. But he's one of the most. Definitely, as far as animals, or creatures, yes. Animals, creatures, whatever. Alright. Even in Tomb Raider 2, some enemies seem to have painted on features like teeth and mouths. Also, animations look janky in many situations in the past two games. This game makes every animation feel real in-game and in cutscenes and in F&B sequences. So I can bring you an example, like if you remember from Tomb Raider 2, the Great Wall, you have that ending cutscene, right? And you have this guy jumping out of nowhere, and Laura dodging that guy. That was pretty awkward. That was pretty janky. And not only that, but anything can interact with the cutscene, which made the game freak out if it was damaged or whatever. If a tiger tried to eat you or maul you before you got to the step to end the level, it would do a little bit of damage to the game. Like if you had it in disc form, it would stutter a bit. That's because the cutscene is like a separate part of the gameplay. It should be. But in that case, it wasn't. And that's a little janky too. Also, F&B sequences. Tomb Raider 2 had one where you are escaping the mafia. I'll say the mafia, Italian mafia, in a jeep, and you're in the snow, and you're trying to escape from them. You destroy a couple cars or whatever. The graphics don't look that good, and movements are janky. They're not natural. They're almost there, but not quite. So that's what I'm seeing. As far as animation, how Laura moves in Tomb Raider 2, it's better than Tomb Raider 1, definitely, but she still moves way too slowly sometimes. And the animation is not quite synced up at times, but that's okay. And creatures aren't moving normal, it seems. They're not natural. They stand out. uh, Flying enemies, ground enemies, crawling enemies, uh, enemies with guns, creatures that run. They're all odd. They're very weird. But in this game, I think everything's fleshed out to the point where you don't notice anything. Everything seems to work good. All the animations, all the cutscenes, all the FMVs, really good. And they are what they should be. And they reflect real life a bit more than Tomb Raider 2, which is great because then it paves the way for the future, but also shows how dedicated these people were to making a really good game, right? Not saying that the other games were bad, it's just they worked harder on this game than the other games, clearly, right? To innovate and do all this stuff. Alright, in the past, the FMV sequences wouldn't have too many animations, but in this game, I am impressed by all of them. And cutscenes have realistic animations, which add to the immersion. Anyway, you go further into the fog and find a pool of water on the ground with mud below that water. This detail provides a scientific reason for the fog, which I explained earlier. The muddy water is likely to be colder than the other surroundings, so that is pretty cool. And they didn't have to do that. So, again, it's going above and beyond what other people would do in this situation and showing a level of care. That's nice to see. And everything's textured really good. It's a lot better than the past two games. So like everybody's working hard on this and they're showing it in the way that you see it. And you could just glance at it or whatever, but it's always detailed. It's always really good. Now, it might not have the graphics of the modern age, but it's still really good, not only for the time, but for a few years ahead, I would say, in terms of level of care. Not in graphical whatever, but in terms of care. You make it to the other side. The grass is darker than what it was in the fog area. You climb up blue platforms till you find a hole, dropping you off into the main crash site area. So this is the main crash site area. All that other stuff was the pre-crash site area, I'll say. The most helpful weapon in this level is the MP5. There is a catch though. It is hard to lock on to the enemies when you are moving. You have bullet spread. You step out a little onto the mud, pull out the MP5, and kill a raptor from far away. Oh, and the difference of the M16 and the MP5, which was a Tomb Raider 2 weapon, the M16, is that You're a little more accurate with the MP5 when you jump around and move. And not only that, but um, from my perspective, it seems to do a bit more damage than the M16, and you have a far greater range, and also you get the weapon depending on which levels you choose. Right, you have the choice of choosing what part of the world you want to do. Uh, you get a choice of like 2, 3, and 4, which ones you'll tackle first or whatever, right? You'll probably have the MP5 for a great majority of the game, so that's already a plus. So Tomb Raider 2, it just occurs too late, I think, and you don't really use it that much because it's not. It's practical in some situations, but not all situations. And this weapon can also be used in close range, whereas the other one struggles a little bit close range. So, and you would probably rather have a shotgun in close range. The other game, Junior 2. All right, let's get back. You step out a little onto the mud, pull out the MP5, and kill a raptor from far away. So there is a subtle overhang that you can get on. It is right above the beginning area. You have to find the exact center of the triangle on a slope where you do a 180-degree roll and grab, and you will get up on the overhang. There's also another way to get it, but this is the easier way to get it, I'll say. There is a crawl space on the overhang that leads to a blue room and a place where you can stand up. This is part of a mystery area. You don't get too many items from either part of the mystery area. There might be multiple parts. It's a mystery area though. We don't know why it's there. And it doesn't have that many items with it. So I don't know why you would go there. You don't get too many items from either part of the mystery area, but this area is subtle enough where you could avoid it on every playthrough. You go down, then you jump up to grab wooden ladder monkey bars, which will lead you around the room till you drop on a platform. You look around and see a pit with reeds at the bottom, a ladder monkey bar that is vertical, and a city crystal on a platform. This room is actually more complicated than I explain it. I never ever, I think I did once, completed this room fully. But oh my god, it is such a waste of time. If you have to, go to Mystery Area Part 2 and get the goodie, one goodie. Okay? There's no reason to go to this area. It is too risky. You're doing the challenge without the text. Because you probably don't know what you're doing. And not only that, it's hard to remember what the right way is. You go down, then you jump up to grab wooden ladder monkey bars, which will lead you around the room till you drop on a platform. You look around and see a pit with reeds at the bottom, a ladder monkey bar that is vertical, and a sage crystal on a platform. So this area is meant to be accessed second. It's part of the mystery area. Does not have the lever. The lever, I think you have to climb the monkey bars to get to the lever. It's not in any of the mystery areas, despite what I said. But just bear with me, okay? I did not want to explain this in detail. If I did, you would be on page 19 or 20. And I didn't want to do it because it's unnecessary. Just want to describe it a little bit. So this area is meant to be accessed second. This part of the mystery area does not have the lever, so you can't do anything here yet. Alright. You get all. Oh, you get out of the crawl space, go to the area where the dinosaur came from. If you hear the dinosaur roaring, then there is a dinosaur nearby. Right? You find a vertical slope area thinking that you could get on top of the plane, but that won't happen. You go by the beginning area, then around a tree, find an alcove coated in rock. You drop down into a hallway, then go up to a grass walkway where you are greeted by two raptors fighting two friendly soldiers with MP5s. Sometimes the soldiers need help fighting off the dinosaurs, and sometimes they dominate. It's a 50-50 split. Sometimes it's 60-40, sometimes it's whatever. But the point is that you can choose, and it will be fine either way. Right? And that is the beauty of this game. See, in Tomb Raider 2, you would have to actively protect the monks in the Barcane Monastery level. If you don't actively protect them, then they would likely die. And I like that level a lot, but a lot of gripes would have been cast aside if it was a more even fight, because it was pretty annoying having to protect them, and if you shot them or whatever, they would go against you. Here, it's limited by sight, I believe. Now, they can gather all the troops or whatever, but I think there's also like a barrier and stuff. They allow you ways to be friendly with them, or to have them get killed, or you to kill them. So there's 3 choices. And that is unheard of in Tomb Raider. So, innovative. Very innovative. Just as the dinosaurs. Very innovative. Very cool. And they vary up the situation in this level. Nothing feels the same. It's wonderful. Alright. If you shoot them, they will take you out almost instantly and gather all their troops to take you out if they are in eyesight. They drop MP5 clips, but it isn't necessary to kill them. And if they get in a situation with a dinosaur, you should probably leave them, because Laura tends to lock onto everything. And that's the problem with Tomb Raider 2 as well. She can't switch her targets, but that hasn't been invented yet for Tomb Raider, so I'm fine with it. And it adds a challenge that is fine, because the AIs are fine for the soldiers and the dinosaurs. So it adds an extra challenge, but it's a fine challenge. It's at a fine line. Everything's at a fine line, so you're good. Alright, they drop MP5 clips, but it isn't they can climb surfaces and wander the entire crash site area, even the side pockets. So the second secret is a bit tricky to get, because there is a canopy of leaves hiding a low-lying branch. It is also angled so that it seems like you might not get it. A triangle going to a fine point. And if you jump to it, so you have to jump like a step back from the edge, which is a little specific but not too specific. You'll find out how to get there. And if you look hard enough and you're observant and you're curious, then you'll find it. This game punishes the curious but also rewards the curious, which is interesting for a game to do. Usually you don't have it both ways. Okay. And if you do, the rewards usually aren't great. Okay. It is okay. Then you have the ceiling to deal with, which will make jumps from branch to branch even harder than expected. But fine line. Good. You'll figure it out. Likely. You run to a branch that is diagonally right from you. Pick up the large med pack, do a standing jump, and grab to another branch to get flares, which will finally activate the secret chime. And it's this risk reward that was shown actually earlier in the India levels. If you wanted to, you could get some Desert Eagle clips and some flares from that area in Temple Ruins. If you wanted to spend the effort to go around branches and risk dropping. And this level introduces the run over to another platform strategy. Officially, right? If you want to get the secret, you got to run over to something. You can't just jump to it. You got to run over. And yeah, this is the second new maneuverability thing that we're introduced to. Second or third. The first one was where we can jump on a platform and keep running to make the jump. Now that was cool. Now we are introduced to the run over air, basically. Run over air to get to a platform. So that is innovative. We just invented a new way to maneuver around the places. You run to a branch. The first jump to a branch is really sensitive. You have to jump from a certain spot on the platform, and the jump to the branch with the flares is really hard to gauge, like I said. Nonetheless, you fall down to the grassy area. In the walkthrough, I found some random MP5 clips sitting around. Soldier might have died. Anyway, you will find a hallway leading down to a depression. Oh, and I recommend not shooting the soldiers, but if you do, handle them in a secluded open area, like this cave area. Once all the enemies are out, that's the perfect place to handle them. You want to lure them over there. And your job is made 5 times worse because you have to deal with all the dinosaurs yourself. So, it's not a good idea, but if you do, secluded area, open space. Alright. Anyway, you will find a hallway leading down to a depression. There are 5 of these little green dinosaurs that are feeding on the carcass of the raptor. They are very hard to aim at, but they will take significantly less bullets to kill. Somebody with a C, because Cosmogenius or something like that. I don't know. I looked it up. These little guys will chip at your health until you die. You want to dispose of them quickly. You go further into the cave, finding a greater door, an island surrounded by water, and the nest, which looks like a volcano with a divot in the center. You find a dead soldier in the nest with a key. This is a key item that you must have, so you take it. The ground starts to shake. You hear the roars of a big dinosaur, a T-Rex. That is the toughest dinosaur in the entire Tomb Raider franchise. So you better find a place to hide. He is one of the toughest creatures you will ever fight in the games. Any game of Tomb Raider. You can count bosses, you can count everything. He's not the toughest thing ever, but he's up there with one of the toughest things ever. So, yeah, careful. And always make sure you kill everything, and not only that, but make sure you have enough health to deal with all these enemies. Just in case you take damage or whatever. Challenge or no challenge, make sure you have enough health, and make sure you don't get touched by things, anything that is harmful to you. Right? There was a grated door that closed once you passed the hallway. That door is open and leads to a lever that will open up the other grated door. If you are stuck in this room, you can't get back up to where you were, where the secret was up above, so you're kind of trapped. And usually you panic, even I panic a little. I'm like, oh, I can't get out. But you gotta face the threat. You can actually fight off the T-Rex here, but be careful. If he bites you, then you are dead. And she could still reach you in this cover. This T-Rex is textured to have different shades of scales. She can wag her tail to hit you. She can swallow you in one bite. She can trample you. And if you don't kill her at this point, you might have to deal with some raptors. She takes 240 MP5 bullets. They have to be direct hits. She tends to hide when you have the jump on her. To put that in perspective, a raptor takes about 30 bullets to kill. A little green dinosaur takes about 5 bullets. And a human takes about 10 to 20 bullets to kill. I would consider this boss to be a side boss, because there is an actual boss at the end of these levels. And he has the artifact we are looking for, which is integral to the story. So this isn't the main boss. But he is a damn good side boss. Oh yeah. You don't have to fight the T-Rex. You can just pull the other lever, open the grate, and get back to the main crash site area. However, I recommend doing this, fighting off the T-Rex. It is fun. You are less likely to get bit by raptors in this huge area, and you don't have to deal with the T-Rex damaging you. You pull the lever, open the grate, and let out 2 raptors. The soldiers will come to your aid and fight them off. If they die, you get MP5 clips, but at least they are able to destroy the raptors. The raptors love to block you in the hallway, so you want to make sure that you can tease them out. Close quarters with the raptor will end you in 3 seconds or less, depending on what health you have. Full health is 3 seconds. You go back out, then you find another alcove leading to a hallway. You run to the end to a great door which opens up into a little room. You shoot above 5 of those little green dinosaurs. And yeah, like I said, it's hard to aim. But we are out of the T-Rex room, which is good. So. Then you pick up MP5 clips and a large med pack by a dead soldier. This is kind of a trap room that isn't really a trap room. It's more like a goodie room. And if you get chipped off by these little green dinosaurs, that's your fault, really. Because it's obvious that they're going to the dead body, and you can outmaneuver them just fine. They're fast, but you can outmaneuver them. There is also a raptor carcass, so maybe the soldier killed the raptor. Environmental storytelling, again. There are 2 levers to pull to open the great door back up. Once you do that and pull up, you mount over a wall that allows you access to the far end of the crash site. There are 2 soldiers fighting off the raptor, so I usually don't partake in the fight. You go to a hallway, which leads to an open area with a raptor and a tree. I almost forgot. The soldiers can accidentally hit you, and they can also run down dinosaurs. It's pretty cool. They go in a duel or whatever. They're not as stupid as the monks, who just go around in circles or whatever. And also, you don't have like too much change in elevation, so you don't get the stupid prisoners in a high security compound or Area 51 that go up stuff, go down stuff, up stuff, up, down, go in circles or whatever. These AI are much better. That's why these AI soldiers are more innovative to me. Alright, while they are doing that, you are stuck with a puzzle. You must find a way across the water, but there are piranhas in the water. On to the next page. Cool. There is a wooden bridge, but the wooden bridge will fall if you land on it. So you can deduce that you need to find a way to climb over the water. First, you need to make sure that the raptor is dead. It will cause you a lot of trouble later. Second, you need to climb up platforms till you see a rock with a vine on it. You shimmy on the vine on the left till you find a place to backflip. Then you jump forward onto another branch. A raptor is on that same branch, so you will inevitably take damage. Don't let the raptor push, otherwise it will be dead. You jump from the branch to a blue platform, then jump over a slope to a triangular platform. Then you go to the edge and line up a standing jump to a thin part of the branch. You will pull up. You pull up and shoot another raptor on another branch with pistols. You jump to a platform with a safe crystal. Then you jump to that branch that had that raptor. You then go up the branch, do a standing jump diagonally left, and pull up to get the third secret. MP5 codes. Nice. And yeah, whenever you get into these levels, you want to conserve your ammo as much as you can. Because these levels don't offer you much ammo. And you'll be forced to use a lot of ammo to help you survive, basically. You can slide down to get to that last branch where you have to line up your shot to take down the raptor on the road. This is one of the only segments where you are required to manually aim your weapon. And yeah, that's another maneuverability thing that you are forced to learn. Right? So it's pretty interesting that you have basically the fourth maneuverability thing that you can do. Manually aim, which you don't do much in any Tomb Raider, but in this game you do. And I guess the first maneuverability thing was the sprint, which was introduced to you in the finished Croftman tutorial level. That was when it was introduced, and that is helpful. It helps you go around places, and it helps you with timing, because you need timing in a lot of levels. The raptor drops into the water, and the piranhas feast on it. So you are now allowed access to the water. The rope can't be swung on, unfortunately. Not yet. It will happen though. And it will be terrible. Hold on. Alright, it's okay. People are moving around. And school is starting soon, so yeah. Alright. The rope can't be swung on, unfortunately, but you can jump to a grassy area that has a small impact. You think you have access to the other side, but you have metal reeds stopping you from getting there safely. So you go back to the water and find an underwater lever. The design of it makes it seem like spikes will shoot out and kill you, but it just opens the great door. You swim up to the other side and find a place to climb up. A raptor comes out of the door, and once you go inside the door locks behind you. You jump onto a platform to get rid of another raptor, and are left with a dark room with three levers. The raptors can still bite you on the platform, and this room is a trap that you have to deal with, because you need another key. You need to use flares here, so you need to use flares sparingly in other sets of levels, because these levels require you to use them constantly, just like the ammo. So. Hey, you want to make sure you have the right weapons for the job, so you go about the levels in a certain way. You really want to make the game easier. Alright, you need to use flares. You pull the north lever and immediately go back to the platform, because the raptor spawns right away to kill you. North when you come into the room, basically, is what it is. So relative north. Another page down, yes. The lever also opens the exit great door, so you make sure the raptor doesn't escape. I assume the lever opens the latch to the trapdoor up above, which is the current objective. And I think there's 4 levers. So, I think they open latches to trapdoor, which is a bamboo lattice work trapdoor. Because I don't say it later, so this is my correction. I assume the lever opens the latch to the trapdoor up above, which is the current objective. Anyway, you go to the northeast corner to pull another lever, which will not spawn another raptor. The last 2 levers are right by the platform in a cubby on the southeast wall. These levers will spawn 2 raptors who will go in and out of the door and will constantly try to avoid your bullets. These are smart dinosaurs. Extremely intelligent. but innovative. So yay. They're fun to fight, is basically what I'm saying. They're very fun to fight. You jump up to the second level, grab a save crystal, grab the other key, and you get a surprise. A raptor suddenly spawns right by you, and you run as fast as you can to the first level and get out of that room. You will inevitably take damage. No matter what you do, you'll always take some damage from the raptor, and you'll always have trouble getting out of that second level. Alright. You go to the water, climb out, go through a hallway, and go to the main crash site area. You can climb on the plane. There is a spot in the mud that will allow you to pull up on the plane. The plane itself has green and yellow camouflage paint with a glass control center at the front. Seems like this was some kind of military plane. It crashed, so there is a wing that is laying in the mud. There is a bridge at the far side of the crash site, which leads to a dead end and no goodies. But it is fun to explore. If there's anything I would have wanted more out of this level, it would be, well, two things. The mystery area needs to have a purpose and also needs to have stakes. Because doing it means nothing, and it needs to have something, because I went through all the effort to go through that puzzle, possibly like 30 minutes at least of my time, to go through each part, activate all the levers, get the save crystal, and maybe just a med pack, but I need some ammo, I need some flares, something. And if it was a secret, I wouldn't bat an eye, because that seems like a secret area you wouldn't normally find. And it's a reward for those that are curious, which the secrets like to do, so it's perfect. There are many areas where you could say that that is a secret, right? But the game is like, no, 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 no. A handful of times, but it's, and this is the newest one that I've come up with so far. And also the plane is crashed, but there aren't too many parts of it that are damaged, really. It just seems empty. It doesn't really seem damaged, and going into that empty vehicle is the weirdest thing ever. It doesn't have anything in it, no cargo, no nothing, only something. It's very spooky. But again, these two things, one is unnecessary, the other is basically you just go through the plane really quickly, so you don't really notice how empty it is, but you ignore it because you're almost at the end of the level and you're just going through. So, all right, continuing. If you fall in the water, you will be carried into the water and fall into metal reeds. The wing that was dislodged leads to white stone platforms and two massive hedges that are adjacent to each other. So when you get onto the plane, there's a fixed camera angle that shows you the scope of the plane. There is a random tree that has a fungus ladder which you can climb on and drop down from. There are fungus monkey bars that allow you to get to a random platform. And I will explain where it is. I think you know by now. This plane will allow you access to the mystery area part 2. Using the wing, you can jump to a yellow area. This area has a crawl space which leads to a blue room, easy clips, and a lever on a platform. This lever will raise the wood monkey bars to mystery area part 3, which is the main mystery area part where you have to save this one. So you get out, go to the overhang, go through the crawl space, get up the monkey bars, and they're presented with 2 paths. One path will cause you to die, and the other path will allow you to pull a lever which will open the door with a small med pack. Okay. To get this small med pack, you have to jump to the craggy wall, shimmy, and hang, then pull up. The save crystal can be gotten by jumping to it. Next page, yay, getting closer. However, this isn't an easy jump to make and isn't worth it. There are also ramps in this area, part 3, that lead you down to the pit, so the risk is high. You have to know what you're doing, and there's also climbable surfaces, but you don't really know which surfaces are climbable or not. You could tell, but it's just not helpful. However, this is an easy jump to make, it isn't worth it. You can find your way back to path 1 and get back out and get on the plane. You find a hole in the plane, drop through it, and go to the control center, where you have 2 keyholes. A raptor spawns in the area, so you take care of it. It gets some MP5 clips. I forgot to mention that the goal of the mystery area is to get from path 1 to path 2. And that monkey bar branch leads to the overhang that leads to path 1, the fungus monkey bar. Right. The mystery area has 5 levers that open up graded doors and also lift up parts of the wood monkey bars up and down. There really is no reason to go to this mystery area, but it is a good test if you want a puzzle. Wow. Anyway, we insert Commander Bishop's key and Lieutenant Tuckerman's key to the slots and activate the plane. The area will glow green, and there will be a hatch below that will open. You go down to the lower level, go past the mounted cannon, that's what I call it, mounted cannon, and go through the open door at the back end of the plane. You pull a flip switch which opens the hatch, moves the cannon outside, and causes a siren to sound. You run to the mounted cannon. You go on it, and there are 20, 30 raptors coming to your position from all directions. Your mounted cannon can rotate 100 degrees horizontally and 180 degrees vertically. The mounted cannon will blow up the raptors in one hit, but you will likely have to use a ton of metapacks because they can easily get to it. You cannot save the soldiers you have saved, and besides, it is fun to blow everything up. After a long level, you just want to blow stuff up. I get you. I recommend running away as soon as possible. Get on the wing and jump to the white stone building. This will be after you blow up the 2 hedges. So you have to blow up the hedges really quickly and then escape. You will get bit several times and you will probably have a low health, like 5% or less, which is what I had when I did the challenge. I almost died, and it wouldn't be fun to start the level. The hedge on the north side has a saved crystal, north this way, basically. You know, adjacent hedges. The hedge on the north side has a saved crystal and a large metapack, while the one on the left leads you to stairs to a temple leading you to the next wall. There are a lot of good things in this level. Intelligent, friendly forces can hold their own, but can also die. Dinosaurs are extremely difficult to deal with and add the right pressure to the player. You have options like running away, approaching the T-Rex head on, and teasing him out so the soldiers can deal with him. That's also a possibility. Very good. You have some fourth option that you didn't have before. And in Tomb Raider 1, you have the T-Rex, but you didn't have those options. You had the option to hide or the option to fight, and that was it. Or you could escape him. That was another thing you could do, but here you have a multitude of options. And the dinosaur is more powerful, so some options have a higher probability of death than others. And it's more obvious. Having raptors on branches add a unique challenge to Tomb Raider. You can get pushed off, but you are forced to take damage to deal with the threat safely. And you know what? That is very unique to Tomb Raider as a franchise, because you don't usually get offered with that situation. You do sometimes. Sometimes you do. But in this case, it is brilliant because this is a very bad enemy that will get you down, and you have to deal with him quickly. And you know he's highly maneuverable and can outthink you, so you're at ends with a really good enemy in one of the worst situations you can have. The swamp rewards you for paying attention to its map with the secret. And all the secrets are helpful in this level. They are. Now, they might not give you enough, but they are helpful. They have a purpose, and they are good in that. I forget what the third secret is. Third secret is why am I blanking on this? Hold on a second. I'll look up. Yeah. So MP5 for MP2, MP5 clips for the first secret. The set of players and the large menpack for the second secret. And the third secret is MP5 clips, which is very helpful because MP5 clips are 50 bullets per pickup. So you're gonna have more MP5 clips, with the dinosaurs take to 30 or whatever, you're gonna always gain MP5 clips. And to conserve ammo, you let the soldiers deal with it. And see if you can help them out so that they don't take too much damage, but you can't. The game game hints you to use the MP5. The MP5 clips are scattered everywhere throughout this level. The mystery area adds an optional puzzle to the game that tests memorization. It's not good or bad, it's just there and it's boring and it's really useless, but it's unnecessary, basically what it is. The mounted cannon is a nice addition to Tomb Raider. It is perfect in the situation and is a tool to exit the level. So this isn't really a vehicle, it's more like it's a turret. It's the first turret of Tomb Raider, which is huge for Tomb Raider because there are a lot of FPS games that use turrets as a trope, basically, and I don't know, maybe it came from here. You never know. But yeah, I haven't seen a turret where you have rockets coming out of it. I haven't seen a turret like that. So. Except for maybe Halo 1 PC, which is surfacing right now. And yeah, everything in this game is a tool. Is something useful, and it's even more useful than the past vehicles because you have branching paths with them usually, and it offers great incentives for one or the other. And sometimes both paths are viable. You can do either one, or you mix them up. Like Coastal Village, you mix up paths to make the best path, the most efficient path. Which is pretty cool because it adds a variance which makes the game fun, interesting, and always puts you on your feet. So in every aspect of this game, you have innovation and you're always caught off guard, and you can always have fun with what you do. Whatever level, you can always have some level of fun. It's great. And honestly, if you come back to it, you'll also struggle. Like, even if you're a pro, you'll still struggle with these levels. So, there's no, oh, if you're an expert, you can do this flawlessly without dying. No. At least not on the first try. But coming back. Alright, there is a pressure to get to the exit at the end before you take too much damage, which is nice. You can choose to save a lot of soldiers, but you could also have them killed to get you MP5 kills. Overall, a great level that doesn't have any problems or annoyances, and the more challenging parts are very fair. So my rank is perfect, and my rating is a 10 out of 10. A 10 for a crash site. A perfect level for a wonderful game. And I can't wait to get into Maduga Gorge, the toughest level in the entire game, and one in which is infamous for how hard it is. So stay tuned for that. And it is going to be probably the longest video of all these levels, as it it is so detailed, and it has two big branching paths, and it is a very scary level that will definitely put you to work no matter what. And you don't mess with this level unless you know what you're doing. Exactly. And yeah, after this level, we'll have easier levels to review. So that's my rating for Crash Site. It is a 10. So thank you for watching, and I will join you next time. Uh, this is TV Ultimate out. See you later.